Hi, so today we're going to be unboxing this Duplicator 9 3D printer that Box.co.uk have kindly sent me for an upcoming PC mod competition that I'm entering. So I'll be using this printer along with the CR10 that I bought from them a couple of months back. I'll be using them printers to print some parts for my PC project. So if you're interested in PCs, also make sure you follow to keep up to date with how the competition goes in the PC mod. It'll be a Black Panther theme PC build. So anyway, we're going to take this out of the box, see what's included in it, and then I'm also going to get it set up as well, see how easy it is compared to the CR10, which, like I say, that's I've had that a couple of months now, running great, wasn't too difficult to set up. So hopefully this one's going to be the same. So we'll start off now and get this opened up. The printer box is actually inside this bigger box, and they've also sent me a pack of this Steadytech Filament, which I've had a couple of these in the past. In fact, I'll quickly take one of these out of the pack so you can see how this comes, because they're quite decently packed. These are come in reusable bags, so if you don't have a storage case like what I've built there, you can put these back in the bags and reseal it and keep it nice and fresh. So this is the main box now that we're going to open up. First thing we've got here is a quick setup guide, and this is what we'll be following for setting it up. Not much to it, just a double-sided piece of A4, so hopefully that works out okay. We've then got a box with the power cable. I think that's a filament holder. There's a hexagon screwdriver, a ribbon for, I think that'll be for the hot end, another bracket, this will be for the filament as well. We've got the hot end, an 8GB memory card, unbranded, some fittings, another little hexagon Allen key, USB cable, very similar to the CR10 one, a pack of their own brand of filament, enough to do a couple of test prints with, and a little metal hooky thing, I don't know what that's for, but we'll find out. Sellotape to the top of the box, I think that's a nozzle unblocker there. There's plenty of foam in here, very similar to the CR10 again, that were quite well packed as well. So now we're to the main base. Nice thing with this printer is it's got the control unit actually built into the base, so hopefully that's a bit of a space saver. Okay, so the first thing it asked us to do is to turn the main base unit onto its side and install numbered bars 1 and 2. They've just got little numbered stickers towards the bottom, if you can see there. So we're going to be installing these facing with the motors to the back, and also with the connections for the motors facing inwards. So unlike the CR10, the wiring is facing inside the machine rather than outside. So the left hand side of the machine, when you're looking at it from the front, is sport number 1. So that will be going on here, and we'll be using two bolts to attach that. The first of which is the little, well, the fairly big silver ones, which go into this part here, and they come with a little gripper attachment. I'm not sure what these are called, but they go inside the bar, and then you tighten them up. So we'll start off by firstly putting one of these into the side of the bar. Just careful that it doesn't spin sideways. Also, when you've got the main unit on its side, just be a bit careful because it does try to tip over. So I'm actually holding it in place with my arm, but if you've got somebody else to help you and hold it, that'd be useful, just to make sure you don't damage your machine. It's also useful actually before you start messing with this bar, just to line up the bolt which is inside the bar already. Just line it up with the screwdriver, get the screwdriver inside the bolt, holding it in place, so when you're bringing this bar up to attach it, you can immediately start tightening up the screw without having to mess about trying to find where it needs to go. So we'll just gently tighten this so it's gripping a little bit, and I'm going to keep hold of this, give it a bit of support, put the other nut on, and then hopefully this should go in. Just be careful when you're putting these ones in, because the little gripper part that goes inside of the bar, it can fall over sideways and then it's not going to be gripping it as good, so just keep your eye on that, make sure it stays in place. So that's gripping it now. I'm going to move back onto the bottom, tighten that into place properly, just make sure the bar's correctly seated. So that's properly tight now. Do the same on this one. So that's number one done. Like I say, it's on the front left of the machine. So we're just going to flip this over now and move on to the second bar. So like I say, this has got the number 2 down at the bottom. Again with the other side, we need to find the screw which is already inside of the machine, and just line it up with a hole and just place your screwdriver inside there, and hopefully it should just stay in place until you've sorted out the bar. This bar then, again with the other side, just slide in your little backing nut thing, and that's fallen sideways. Slide that into place. And then I'll move on to the side one, and again just tighten it so it's gripping, and then go back around them both and fully tighten them up. So like I suggested earlier, just go around the nuts and bolts and double check that they're all tightly in place. While it's over on its side, I'm just going to check the ones which are on the bottom underneath the build plate. You don't get the Allen key needed for these ones, so hopefully you've got one already that'll work for you. I'll just double check what the size is that you're going to need. Okay, so that's a S3 T15 hexagon Allen key size for the bottom ones. I'm just going to quickly go around them, make sure that they're tight. So there were just 2 of them that moved just slightly when applying a bit of pressure for hold them on. I'm just going to double check the belt, the tension as well, and that seems fine. So that's the underneath sorted for now, and also the both sides on. So we're going to flip it back upright again. So now, following on with the instructions, we need to work with number 3 and 4, and again with the side ones, it's got the numbers on there, so you can't really go wrong with that. You've got the number 3 and the number 4, and we need to loosen off the top nuts, which is on the top of each of the left and right hand side, and take off the little side cap. So we should hopefully then be able to slide on the bar. So I'm not bending these bars on the side. I am just lining up the top part with them as best as I can, and trying not to bend the side parts, because I want them to stay as straight as possible. So I've equalled out the top bar as best I can. So now we just need to put the final support bar on for all the hot end in place, and this one is labelled up number 5 and number 6, and again on the back of the two support rods on the side here, they're labelled up 5 and 6. So the 5 goes to the left hand side and the 6 goes to the right hand side. So now the instructions is asking us to use these two little parts here labelled number 6 and number 5. So again they correspond with the different ends of the bar. They're both identical, so it shouldn't really matter actually. So you just need to slacken off the end of that, slide it into the rod, and it says to just tighten it so it grips it and don't move about, but don't over tighten it. So we'll just slide that down to the other end to save having to take both side caps off. So now we need to take the arm and the medium size Allen nuts, which is these ones here. There should be two of them, one for the left and one for the right. We'll just line this up. It needs slackening a little bit. And then just tying that in place. You need to use the medium size Allen key that they've provided with a machine, which is this one. I'm just going to gently put that side in place and move on to the other. Now these little support columns are lined up with the Allen key nuts. I'm also going to just slacken the Allen key nut and just tighten this support column onto the bar using my finger ends. I don't know if it actually mentions to do that, but I'm doing it anyway. So yeah, anyway, I'm going to tighten them up with my finger before moving on to the Allen key and just tightening it up. Put the little side cap back on. Okay, so here we have the hot end. It's going to be attaching onto the printer this way. On the sides, on both sides, it's got two little holes there on the machined part. So we'll be lining them up with the matching holes on the support. So like the instruction says, I'm just gently putting them into place until they're all in, and then I'll slowly go around them all and tighten them all up. They've not been tightened up, and as you can tell, if I push on the top part of it, it's wobbling about a bit. So rather than pushing it back and tightening it up, I'm just going to leave it how it falls naturally and just tighten it into place like that, because it doesn't look like it's going to be angled right if I actually put any force onto it while I'm tightening these up. So we'll see how this works out once it's all set up. And now all it really shows us what to do is the wiring instruction in this little section here, basically lining up wires A with A, B with B, and so on, and then it moves on to the leveling. So pretty much all we've got to do now is plug the wires in, power it on, and do a bed leveling just to make sure it's all working. I can't actually see it doesn't look to be mentioning about attaching the filament holder, but I do know that attaches to the top of the frame, and there is some nuts and bolts left here which I'm going to assume are for that particular purpose. Okay, so the last part we need to do now is just attach up the wires. So we have on the left hand side of it, we have A, which matches up to the stopper labelled A. We've got B over on the left hand side here, Then down underneath on the left we've got C, which attaches to the back. Then around on the other side we've got D at the back here. The other two for the build plate are already in place. The next thing we need to double check is to make sure that the bar is level on both sides. I'm just going to grab my ruler and quickly check the height on these. So that side is 83, and over on the other side it is 86. So we need to raise this side by 3mm. So we'll just double check that again. So now we have 84.5 and 85. So we'll just move this side up a little bit more. So now we have 85 and 85. So the other thing I just needed to quickly fix is the bent little bracket on the front here. This is how it came, so I'm just going to quickly loosen this off and straighten it up. And it looks to be set up now, apart from the spool holder, which, like I say, it doesn't mention anything about that actually in the instructions. So it comes in, it looks simple enough to fit together anyway. You have the main bracket part, you have the spool holder part, just put that through the big hole there, facing the lip on the end there upwards, so that stops the spool falling off. Just tighten up the little plastic end. So then all you need to do is attach this to the top bar using the two remaining bolts and the little bar holder things. I'm not entirely sure what these two other bits I'm left with here are for. I think there might possibly be spares for holding the wheels in place. I haven't seen anything in the instructions for them, so for now I'm just going to put them to the side. You just need to slide these little nuts in that are going to hold it in place. And to tighten this up, you need to use the medium size Allen key that came with it. And lastly, we just need to install the ribbon cable before I forget. This is one of the main parts I don't like about this design, is this cable and the colour of it as well. It doesn't match up to the rest of the printer. But anyway, we'll get it all in place. And then the other end of the cable just goes down underneath and into the back. And while I'm over here, I'll show you, this is the main control unit here at the front. So you've got the SD cards slot here, which is a full-size SD, and you've also got the USB there as well. So all that's left to do now it's all set up, is quickly plug it in, we'll power it up, we'll do the bed leveling, make sure it's all working, and then in a later video I'll once I've got it all set up properly with the filament and everything, I'll do a couple of test prints and we'll see how it compares against the CR10, which like I said, that's been working great for me for the past couple of months now. So yeah, we'll get this bed leveling done and see how that goes. It's got a nice display on this. It's got a touch screen with a bit of colour. Okay, so we'll check out the auto level. going to have to make sure that this side ribbon is properly fastened back onto here, because I can imagine this rubbing and wearing it out over time, so I'll have to check that out later on. So far so good. So far the machine seems quite quiet, there's not any noticeable vibrations going on. I'd say the noisiest part of it at the minute is the actual cooling fan for the control unit behind here. So that's the bed leveling finished, and as you can see it's come back with the results on here. I must say it is a hell of a lot quieter than the CR10, even though I've installed dampeners on the CR10 as well to reduce the noise. So with both of them, the noisiest part so far seems to be the fan in the control unit itself. But anyway, what I'm going to do in the next video is I'm going to hopefully print out a couple of tests on this, and also print one out on the CR10, the exact same file, and then I can also do a comparison for the quality results. So that's it for this video anyway. In the next one I'll make sure that I do a test print for this, see how the results are, and also get back to you about how it compares with the CR10, which to me has been a great printer, but like I said, this one's really quiet in comparison to the CR10, and it's a lot more, apart from the ribbon, which I don't particularly like, it's a lot more compact with the control unit built into it. The touchscreen is a nice little added benefit as well, because although the knob is good on the CR10, it sometimes can take a little bit of messing about to get to where you need to go. It's easy to overfire the option that you want it to go to. So anyway, like I said, if there's anything I've missed in this, if there's anything else you need to know, please just send us a message or drop a comment below, and I'll get back to you as quick as I can.